Okay. In the exam, there will be some quick questions. So I call them quick questions. So, for example, from the midterm, question 1, you have the vector 1, 2, negative 3. You have the vector negative 2i, negative j, 5k. You can also write it as negative 2, negative 1, 5. And then they tell you find 2u, 3v. 2 of this plus 3 of this. You can just say 2 of this, so 2 times this is 2, and 3 times negative 6, so minus 4. 2 times this is 4, and 3 times this, so that's 1. 2 times this is minus 6, plus 15, 9. So, straightforward. Then they tell you, find u minus v, and this means magnitude. So u minus v basically be this minus this, negative 3i, this minus 3j, this minus this, 8k. And the magnitude, you square the first one, square the second one, square the third one, 82, a square root of 82. The C question, these are just quick questions. The C is V dot product, U cross product with I. So you start with the cross product. So U is given, so you go ijk. U is given, so 1, 2, negative 3. I means 1 and nothing, there's only I, so there's no jk. We do the cross multiplication, and the I would be 0, and the j would be 0 minus 3, and the k would be 0 minus 2. So this is negative 3j, negative 2k. So now we have the result of the cross multiplication. Now we do the dot product. The dot product between minus 2, minus 1, 5, and negative 3, negative 2k. Minus 2 times no I, so that's 0. Negative 1 times negative, so it's like this. Just to write it the correct way, it would be like 0 minus 3 minus 2. Then this times this is 3, and this times this is minus 10, the answer is minus 7. Projection. You might see a question asking for projection of a vector into a vector. So question 2, so you have a u, 1, 2, 3, and you have a v, another vector, 3, 6, minus 2. You want the vector projection of u into v. The down here would be whatever you're onto the vector v. And the rule says you use the onto every time. It's like basically this: u dot v, v dot v, v. Everything is v. See, everything is into except u. So the n2 that goes down would be everywhere, and this would be u. So basically, uv, you do the dot product here. This time this is 3, 12, negative 6. VV, you do the dot product by itself, like with itself. 3 times 3, 6 times 6, and minus 2 times 2. And this times the vector V. And that would be your projection. Here we have 15 minus 6, that's 9. Here you have 49, 3, 6 minus 2. And you just multiply this through. You multiply it through, and when you multiply it through, it would be 27, 49, 54, 49, minus 18, 49. Also, if I go to your sheet for the worksheets, one of the quick questions you could possibly be asked is question 6, for example, where it's find the angle between vectors. So you have two vectors. This is question 6 worksheet. You have two vectors, and the two vectors are 1, 2, minus 1. And the other vector V, 3, minus 2, 1. You need the angle between the two vectors. So it's one of those formulas you need to remember. It's the cosine inverse, dot product between them, value u, value v. So the dot product is the cosine. It's basically a rule you need to remember when you're asked for the angle between them. The dot product will be 3 minus 4 minus 1. Magnitude of the first one is 1 plus, so 1 plus 4 plus 1. Magnitude here, you square the first, you square the second. So it's the cosine inverse of, that's negative 2, and that's root 6 times root 14. You can just leave it as it is. So in the exam, he's not going to ask you to find it. Another I consider quick question is question 7, for example. Question 7 would be points of intersection. Worksheet, question 7. They give you the line, negative t, 1 plus t, 1 plus t as well. You want the intersection between this and the plane. Point of intersection. It's basically put them together. So instead of x, you go minus t. Instead of y, 1 plus t. Instead of z, 1 plus t plus 4 equals 0. Negative 2t, negative 3, negative t. Plus 1 plus t plus 4 equals 0. Cancel, cancel. Negative 2t. This is negative 2. Negative 2 plus this is 2. You bring this over. T is 1. So put them together. T is 1. So your point of intersection You put here, put the 1, negative 1, 2, 2. You plug it here. That would be your point of intersection. I did the math somewhere wrong, so it should be half. So it doesn't matter, but you get the idea. These are the quick questions. Let me see if there's anything quick that I want to do. If you go to page 2 in the midterm, question 6 and 7, these are the only 2 questions from worksheet 1. The first was the length, and it's a formula, so you just find the derivative, and question 7 also is the equation of the tangent line. If you have a problem, 6, 7, you let me know. Or you know what, let's just go through them quickly. Question 6, 7, those are worksheet 1 from the midterm. Find the length of the curve. So you need, in question 6 midterm, length of the curve. They give you the curve. 12t, 3 over 2, 3t squared. From 0 to 1. So basically, it's an equation. So all you need to do is find the derivative. As 12, derivative of this would be 12t half. Derivative of this would be 6t. And what you need to do is you integrate in the given interval, square root, the first one squared, the second one squared, and the last one squared. So from 0 to 1, if you square the first one, you get 144. You square the second one, becomes 144. T to the half squared is t. You square this one, it will be 36 t squared. Now, it's usually a complete square. A complete square meaning you open bracket squared, you take, there is the t squared term, and there is the number. You square root the number, you square root the t squared term, and the sign between them is the sign of the middle one. This is called complete square. A square root and square, they cancel each other, so you have 12 plus 6t dt. Now you integrate, this one is 12t, this one is 3t squared, 1, 0, you put the 1, you put the 0, answer is 15. So that's one question. The other question, the other one is question 7. And this is more like between, I'll say, worksheet 1 and the stuff after. Question 7, midterm. Find the parametric, so we need the equation of the line, and it's a tangent line. So, equation of the line, if you remember, when you do an equation of the line, you need a point and a vector. The point is given 3, 0, 3. Now we need a vector. Since we know it's tangent to this, all you need to do is find the derivative of this and plug t. So the derivative of this would be, for the first one, would be half times 2, 1, t to the negative half, 3t squared minus 1, and 3t squared. to get t, you see this 3 and t and everything, you take one of them, this is the point 303, and you have the curve of basically 1 plus 2 root t, t cubed minus t, t cubed plus 2. You can make any of these equal each other. I can make this equal this. So like t cubed plus 2 equals 3. Bring this over, so t is 1. So actually, this point is when t is 1. You plug 1 here. 1 to any exponent is 1. 1 here will give me 2, and 1 here will give me 3. Now this here is my vector. So I need the equation. First point plus 1t, second point 2t, last point 3t. This is the equation of the line. So we keep going. There will be a question in your midterm similar to one of the questions of the domain, question 11. Question 11 and then question 14. So from worksheets 11, 14. 11, question 11 first. Sketch the domain of sine inverse xy. Or it could be cosine inverse, it doesn't matter. X, I believe plus y, was it? X plus y, yeah. Okay, that means when the x plus y, the domain of this, must be somewhere between 1 and minus 1, meaning x plus y must be less than 1, and also x plus y must be greater than negative 1. So we go here and we sketch both lines. If you set this to 0, this is 1. If you set this to 0, this is 1. If you set this to 0, minus 1. If you set this to 0, minus 1. So you go here, x, y, 1, 1, negative 1, negative 1. I need 0.0110. This is my first line. This is this line here. And the second line is this line. I need to be below this line, over this line, then this is the below, the line above the line. This is my region. Another example, it was given to you, question 14. Question 14. Sketch the domain. So we're doing the domain for xy, x squared plus y squared x plus 5y. The domain of this is everything, except there's only one exception. The bottom cannot be 0. So we sketch this line. If I put 0 here, then x is 0. If I put, say, 1 here, then x would be negative 5. So I go here, negative 5, 5, 5, negative 5. I need 0, 0. And I need the point 1 minus 5. This is, minus 5, 1. Minus 5, 1 would be this point. This is the line that's not included. Everything else is okay. So this is the line that you're not including in the domain. I'll do the domain question from the review, midterm review. The domain question from the midterm review was question number 8 from your midterm. Domain for ln minus x squared minus y. For the ln, what's inside the ln must be greater than 0. So you move everything over. You have x squared minus 9. You multiply by negative. This becomes y. This flips. This becomes a 9 minus x squared. This is your domain. Now, how do you sketch this domain? You go to your x and y. Negative x squared is like the letter n. 9 makes it start with 9. But you're less than this. So your y is less, so you go, this is my region. If it's more, it would be the above line. But make sure that the line is not included, so make it like dotted line to indicate that the line is not included. Another version of this question could be, they could ask you square root of 9 minus x squared minus y. So the same question, instead of ln, it could be a square root. If it's a square root, you do the same thing exactly, same steps, the inside greater than 0 and all of this, except for the square root, it could equal. Meaning that when you sketch it, it would be a solid line. So it's a solid line for a square root, it's a dotted line for a ln. This is the end of part 2. We'll come back to part 3.